It's a new day, Newnan. Yes, it is, and it is I, Daddy Warsucks, like from Annie. But I am your Manny. Oh, that's pretty good. I'm pretty proud of that. Today, we have what we are calling our Citizen of the Week interview with a good old friend of mine who maybe I shouldn't introduce yet, because maybe he's going to change his name and be like, you know what, I want to go by this instead. And I don't want to deny him the right to lie about what his name is. So awesome. That's who we're going to talk to. Thank you for joining us in this bonus episode. Check out our main feed. We just posted our interview with the Bid It to Win It creator. And coming up this Friday is part one of our interview with a Peachtree City resident. And I am, of course, the last of the Mohicans, the man that gravity neglected. Newnan Time with Harold. And we'll be here with our exclusive interview right after this real quick commercial.
Know what would go great right here? Your ad, your business, your services. Or maybe just your rant about how roundabouts are crop circles by redneck aliens. Whatever you need to say, we'll help you say it. Contact NewnanTimeWithHarold@gmail.com for more information.
Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, the man that I almost gave a name to earlier. We have him live in studio from another place. Mr. That's me prompting you to say your name. Mr.
Oh, I'm Sam. Hi, how's it going?
Mr. Sam. Hi. Sam, what the hell are you doing, my boy?
Oh, I'm reporting live from the field right now. I'm on the ground. I'm searching around. Having a good old time. Feeling dandy. Feeling Jade.
And today we are calling you officially our Citizen of the Week. What did you do this week that would give you such a title?
Is that the title?
That's what I decided.
Is that all?
Yeah, you're Citizen of the Week, and now you have to give me like a blurb.
Oh man, I was hoping for like a more sort of illustrious and impressive title. Could we re-roll this? Could we go back? Can you edit this to make it like a better, more impressive title for a business card? One that I could like emboss. Just sounds powerful.
We can go with the Jade Beauty, the Citizen of Eternity.
Citizen of Eternity, Jade Beauty, once in 10 generations beauty. Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good. We don't even have to go back. We'll just sort of, I'll go from there. Yeah, that feels much better. I feel better. I feel looser. I feel stronger, slipperier, more mobile, optimized.
Now, Sam and I go back to my first ever podcast attempt, which is probably, what are we talking, 16 years ago? 15 years ago?
Probably like 15 years ago, yeah. I was literally a teen.
Oh, yeah, you were a teen. I was a 21, 22-year-old hanging out with some teenagers.
I was really cool, to be fair. To be fair, you were like one of the younger versions of my friend group. You were probably like number 2 next to Casey.
Right. And I think we got into the podcast game before like the rest of the world did. It was called the Freddie Flux Affair. And I was Freddie Flux.
It was just the Flux Affair. Just the Flux.
Oh, see? And
just Flux.
That's what I need.
Because it sounded cool. It was like semi-alliterative. I liked it. It sounded trippy and sci-fi-like. But, I mean, yeah, it was fine. It was fine, and we were great. And we brought nothing but light and joy, I think, to the world.
I only remember 2 episodes that we ever recorded. I remember us reviewing Glee. And I remember once the podcast got kind of popular, I decided to swap like my focus from being funny. And instead I interviewed 2 Christians. And what they did is they'd answer atheist questions and try to embarrass the atheist.
See, I have like a fully different memory of that.
Okay, what happened?
I don't remember Glee at all. I think you're having like a false memory, or you're confusing me with someone else, which is hurtful, but also understandable. I thought about it the last time you mentioned it, and I was like, did that happen? Did I just black that out? But no, I'm 99.9% sure I've never seen Glee. And I wonder if I'm not living a different timeline than you were, and it's some sort of Mandela effect, which I think is a joke. Like personally, I think it's the most self-glazing sort of idea that you can't possibly just remember something wrong. It has to be that you went through some type of space-time anomaly and jumped into another alternate parallel world where the thing you're wrong about was the truth, but you moved here and now it's a lie. That's the Mandela effect as I understand it.
But how
And
do you
to me,
explain that so many people have the same memory that's wrong?
it's it's just sort of them being wrong together as a team and then collectively deciding to circle jerk. Uh, we can't possibly be wrong. This has to be some kind of space time portal I jumped through whoopsie daisy style. I transcended the realms and now I live here where Arthur didn't have a big nose.
See, I guess I technically agree with you because I've yet to hear something that's like one of the popular Mandela effects that I am like, wait, you're right. I didn't think of it. Like, I knew the right way to say the bears sing bears, and I knew
Mhm.
the fact about Mandela, and like, I've yet to see one that everyone's like, it's a Mandela effect. I'm like, no, I remember it being that way. But I don't think that's because I'm smarter than other people. I think it's because I paid less attention. So once something said that it was this way, I'm just like, okay, sure, that's fine. I didn't even know who
Not
Nelson
so
Mandela
good.
is.
So there's one of two things that could be happening. One is you're a pathetic muggle who's never walked the dimensional planes.
No, I can't be
You've
that one.
never transversed and traversed it, or it's not real. It's not a real thing. So there's that. There's that to think about. There's that to consider. Um, I don't remember Glee. I remember we talked about like local gossip. We had some skits. I did some characters. I did like an old man character. We talked about the theater and people adjacent to it, and most of it was just skit, I thought. But I could be having a false memory, which is something I do believe in. I just don't know.
I don't remember
We'd have to find.
any of that. I don't know if it's still on the
We'll have
internet.
to.
I don't remember any of that. That sounds so boring. A podcast of us just talking about drama at the theater and then you being an old man.
Not drama, not drama. Just talking about it. That was one example where I was an old man. I think we had like little segments. It was like a Jessica Simpson, Nick Lachey Power Hour. What do they call it? The Variety Hour. Yeah, it's a foggy core memory of mine.
Oh, I'll hunt for it. I will hunt and I will see if there is a way I can find the Flux Affair. And if you're listening to this and you find an episode of the Flux Affair, I will give you $50 to the first person who can find an episode of the Flux Affair. That's 50 crispy Jacksons, my friends. 50 crispy
I'll
Jacks.
I'll contribute 10 Sacagawea dollars coins. I'll have to find them. It'll be really difficult for me. Uh, or I'll give you a big old smooch right on the eye.
Right on the eye. Then they won't be able to count their sequoian dollars.
It's Sacagawea, dude.
Oh, sorry,
Wake
bro.
up.
Sorry, bro.
Wake up, dude. Be
Bruh.
more mindful of the indigenous people, okay?
You
The
know,
indigenous people, they're heroes and our heroes. Let's be clear. My hero, Sacagawea, uh, brought light and she brought clarity on the journey to explore this great nation. And I consider her to be a founding mother.
when I first started getting the Newnan Time with Harold Page going, 4 years ago, I had this lady that would message me. I'm assuming it was a lady. I think the name was something that it was like Riley or something. And she'd message me regularly and let me know street names and neighborhoods that are named after people who killed Native Americans and how angry
Oh
she was.
no,
She was like, "Oh yeah, this."
I'm angry too now. How many are there?
There was a lot. There was a lot in Coweta
Like
County.
here? Oh no.
You're probably
Okay.
you
See,
probably
I'm
live on
having
the
a.
street.
That makes me sad. Elaine. Oh,
I
well,
was
I
I
doxed
wasn't
myself.
gonna say what street you lived
I've
on.
doxed myself. Come and fight me. Let's go. Or make a friend. Make a best friend of your life. You ever watch Disney's Aladdin?
Uh huh.
Imagine I sort of did like a live action a cappella version of You Never Had a Friend Like Me just now. And also the listeners, please uh, open your mindscapes and just envision that and remember that is what happened.
I was asking you how long you've lived here because anytime I have someone on here, I always ask them what is the best part about Coweta County and what is the worst part of Coweta County. And I don't want to hear
Okay.
traffic. If your answer is traffic, I'm just going to delete that and delete this whole interview and
Wouldn't be traffic.
lose your profile.
It's so boring. Oof. Okay. So I had a stint of like 21 years, and then some time passed, and I have been here since September last, around my birthday, September 1st, cash out. And will be here probably after my lease is up. I'm gonna see. Thinking about maybe like Sonoa. I gotta say them all, so I don't get any angry listeners calling into our hotline. Um, yeah, super long time. I consider myself to be more than an expert, more than a local folk hero.
And what do you consider the best and worst parts?
Best part, when I lived in Atlanta, uh, it was pretty cold. Not cold temperature wise, but like on the street, you wave at somebody and they look at you all mean, like, why are you waving at me? What do you need? What do you want? Here I have to like bat people away. Stop waving at me. They're so sweet. Like, how you doing, honey? Oh my God, you park so good. I love to see that this day and age. Oh, you're so handsome. And I'm still getting out of the car from the last time someone complimented me and waved to me and greeted me. Everyone's very helpful and kind. Um, I also like, this is a fully different one, but I'm going to be greedy. When I moved here, it was just the woods and McDonald's and Kroger on Highway 34, Thomas Crossroads. And it slowly developed into what looks like super duper cool metropolis world. Uh, like as soon as I left. And I guess the worst part is, guys, why'd you all collectively decide to be super cool as soon as I went away? Um, the worst thing is the betrayal that everyone in this county collectively did to me, and for that, I'll probably never forgive it.
So
My grandchildren will sing songs of it.
was the Starship there before or after you moved?
So like way before, I remember buying. Remember that fake weed they had that was killing people?
Yeah.
I remember buying that a bunch. And it was there for some time before that. Like I was just like a teenager, so I couldn't enter the Starship. Um, and then for a while afterward, for intimate reasons. So I'd say no, like way after.
Yes, at the time, Sam and I's best friend, his name was, well, no, he's alive. He's just not our best friend anymore. He was
What do they call 'em?
the lone man to protest the protesters that protested Starship. So on any given night, you could go and you could see like the megaphone church people, and then you could see our best friend standing in front of Starship with a sign that's like support Starship, and he got interviewed by the paper about it, so he could be like, oh, I love Truth Kathy or whatever the name is of the Starship owner or something like that.
Sure,
And
it's Kathy is the Chick-fil-A founder.
same thing.
Like a super different. Those are like polar opposite people.
And then, so Starship obviously was open and it succeeded. And then he got a job there. And I remember when he worked there, he's like, this is the worst freaking place I've ever been. I hate it. I don't want to work here. This is terrible. So, lesson learned, do not support anything.
I don't have any opinions really. I actively avoid them. I refuse to have them. When confronted, I will pretend to be someone else until they stop.
Have you ever gone into Starship and purchased something that wasn't that fake weed?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, what was it? Something good?
Um,
Big old like lobster dildo? Blah, King Lobster.
okay, all right. I bought toys for girlfriends, and That sounded way less cool out loud than I meant it to.
It sounded so lame.
I mean, that's the truth. I'm just telling. Like, I purchased toys for
Girlfriends?
a few girlfriends over time.
My girlfriends, I got them
I
toys.
I don't know. I've never really like needed to buy lube at Starship, but I bought lube at other stores. I'm pretty, as you can tell, I'm like a real sensual man with lots of kinky experience
Didn't even buy
at
the lobster.
Starship Enterprises. There was a lobster?
The lobster dildo, I just said that.
I wasn't listening.
All right, so we're going to play a little bit of a game in our last 5 or 10 minutes here. This is called the Newnan Times Headlines. What I'm going to do, my dear friend, my Jade Beauty, is I'm going to give you some headlines that are currently available on the Newnan Times Herald website. We are not going to open up those links. We are not going to see what they're actually about. We just want you to kind of fill in the blanks. Be like, all right, that's the headline. Oh, I know exactly what that's about. And you tell us what it's about. Make sense?
Makes sense to me. To assure the listeners, I can't see anything. I'm literally in my garage.
Here we go. Headline number 1. Newnan High School grad returns to paint mural. What's that about?
So, a Newnan High School grad, a Cougar. Shout out to the Cougars out there. I didn't go to Newnan, but
Cougs!
Cougs, go Cougs! It's better than the Indians. Good God, terrible name. Terrible. That's just a. It's 2 mistakes in a row because it's like they're not Indians, and they're a type of human being and not a cool animal with sunglasses. But
I was wondering what the second mistake was going to be. Okay, gotcha.
it's weird to make a large group of diverse ethnicities indigenous to our wonderful nation a silly tiger. Like it's the Indians versus the Cougars.
Well, and then you've got Northgate, which are the Vikings. How do you feel about Vikings?
Similarly, but like Vikings are a specific job. So it's like the Arnold Knights uh, over on in Sharpsburg, you know. Uh, those I think are more acceptable, absolutely, because that's an elective choice, a non-mandatory, non-assigned at birth thing that you can decide to do. Um, be a Viking, be a knight, but you're born an indigenous person, a Native American, or an Indian, however you choose to identify. And I don't think that's
Yeah.
or a cougar or a cougar. Yeah, you know what? My whole point.
That's what I was thinking.
You really poked a hole in that, Jim.
All right,
Well,
so
look
what
at
is this?
that.
Newnan High School grad returns to paint mural. God, I can't say that word, mural. This Newnan grad, he's painting a mural. Who is he? What's he painting?
He returns. He's been training. He's been training for a long time. He's been across this globe. He's been globe trotting. He's been learning. He's been growing. He's been evolving. And he came back. He came back much like Batman. Bruce Wayne came back to be Batman. Except instead of Batman, his money, his martial arts, his vast fortune. Uh, his thing is that he likes to paint murals, and then he did that. I don't know. There's not a lot to work with there. I feel stifled by your question. It's so boring.
You're supposed to make it interesting.
To paint a mural? Well, it wasn't, and I made it more interesting.
Some of these I'm nervous to read out loud, but let's try this one.
I'm absolutely flay you if you give me another fastball like that.
This one right here is a man's face. He looks like Post Malone, but like if Post Malone was a fat uncle. And the headline,
Regular Post Malone?
a fatter uncle. The headline is
Calling out Post Malone. Post Malone, jump on the podcast.
called the hotline.
Call the hotline.
The headline is just quotes, and it says, "I'm not coming out." That's it. It's this guy's face, and it is the words, "I'm not coming out."
There's like really easy, low hanging fruit there, but I'm gonna choose to be a noble, honorable, and venerable hero. He's sort of shut himself in. He's in a bunker and he's waiting. He's waiting Harold for a better time to come out. And he's gotten so lonely that he's resorted to reaching out to the media because his family, his wife and his children left him, obviously. He's been digging and digging and digging and digging and digging in the backyard. And despite his friends and family, his neighbors all working to stop him, people in the community reaching out for his mental health, he dug until he built this horrible tomb for himself. He buried himself under the earth, and he has no one left. They all gave up on him. They tried so hard to pull him back to the man that he was, but here he is, a husk in the tomb he built for himself. And he's reaching out to the local news to just know what it's like to be perceived and to be loved, to feel anything again. But he's not coming out, though. It's sort of invested in this.
See, the photo, you can't see it, but it looks like it's a mugshot, but it's not confirmed. I can't tell that it's a mugshot.
The lighting down there is really bad.
No, that makes sense. All right, this is a good one.
A little more than a cave, but not quite like a bunker.
Race, and the word race is in all caps.
Oh.
Race for the Orphans helps 5 families adopt.
So, sorry. Race, all caps, for the Orphans helps 5 families adopt.
Race, all caps.
As you know, I mean, I'm currently an orphan, but some of these like OG orphans, they start off with no parents.
Can you be an orphan if you're a grown up? Isn't that just your parents are dead?
I can be an orphan. I want to use that as a title to identify as.
And that's
because
totally
it makes
fine.
me sound softer and less intimidating, and more interesting. It kind of shortens like my parents are dead, so I'm an orphan. It's a lot smoother. But yeah, I was saying, Harold, sorry. Orphans, examples I'm thinking of, like Oliver and Company, the cat, or Oliver from Oliver Twist. Most Olivers, really. They're sort of streetwise, sort of like Cockney pickpockets. Obviously, they've got to make their way.
Most orphans are Cockney pickpockets.
Yeah, well, you know, they have a similar experience. It doesn't necessarily have to be pickpocketing, rather. Maybe it's like they're trying to do some passive income scams. They're working on trying to Bitcoin mine. I don't know. My point is that they're crafty, they're resourceful, and they live out here on these streets, because I've never seen a real orphanage.
That's fair.
Fuck if you're going to catch one to adopt. You know, one of the primary things among all the paperwork, interviews, all the money that it takes to adopt a child, you got to catch them first. And so Race for the Orphans is where they sort of corral them together into not a pen, but like, you know, they have like tablets and stuff to entertain themselves on. They release them much like the running of the bulls, and infertile parents, sort of gay couples, people who are in the market to adopt, people who just want to make a change, help these kids from having to live out here on these streets, pickpocketing like Cockney, sort of bandit, ruffian, rapscallions. This is an opportunity for them to really show their worth, really show their speed, and how much they want it. And it builds families all across the nation every year, as far as I understand.
So for these children that are Cockney, that are in Coweta County, where do they get their Cockney in from?
It's more of a vibe than like a dialect. I think you just, you know, like maybe if they talk to an orphan from across the pond, you know, in my very authentic Cockney accent, they would make eye contact, and they wouldn't even need to speak to realize that they're one of their own.
That actually makes a lot of sense. I'm gonna hit you with 2 more. One of the headlines here.
2 more, okay.
One of the I'll save the best for last. Right here we have Pet of the Week, Russ. And in the photo is an orange and white cat.
I like to think the cat is not Russ. I think Russ,
Ooh.
maybe he owns the pet. Maybe he's a sort of a pet's pet, if you catch my drift. Or maybe Russ is a very talented sort of gerbil, and he's crafted his own very lifelike, anatomically correct cat costume.
Ooh.
And his special talent, to earn him the place of pet of the week, is being able to puppeteer this like taxidermied uh, abomination that he's sewn together with his little paws.
I'm sure that's what it is. Here we go. Are you ready for
I
this
think so
last one?
too. I think so too. Like honestly, it's not even a joke.
Take a deep breath for this last one. I'm not going to tell you what the photo is, but the headline is Wild Things Uncommonly Orange. You may breathe.
Thank you so much. Okay, I'm reeling. I'm a little lightheaded from that.
This was posted
Wild Things.
5 hours ago on the Newnan
5 hours
Times
ago. This is a
website.
hot topic.
5 hours ago.
This is a hot button issue. This is
Wild
topical.
Things
Okay.
Uncommonly Orange.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm not even going to click
I'd
it. I
say-
don't even want to know what it's actually about.
Honestly, I'll just speak to something that I've realized, and I'll preface that with my answer, which is a fancy way of saying I'm going to answer you and then say some more stuff. So when I think of orange, I think of stop, alert, there's construction, there's danger, hazard. And that's very orderly, right? That's like super
Yeah, totally.
like programmed into our brains. You see orange, you go, whoa, watch out, or slow down, or something with tools, power tools is happening. Uh, so I'd say they are rarely orange, the wild things. I think that the orderly things are always orange, or almost always, preferably orange, so I know what to not touch. The next thing I'll say is you can use that as a weapon, and it's called social engineering. And I'll go into it really briefly. Purchase a high visibility vest at Walmart today for $20. Get the one with the pockets, put it on, buy a clipboard at Walmart, checkout. Okay, then you're going to go anywhere you've always wanted to go into, but were never allowed before. All you got to do is have a glazed over look of confidence, a little bit of urgency in your walk, and pretend to be checking something off at the door of the building. Wait impatiently, tap your foot. You'll be let in. Say, I'm here for maintenance. Can you show me to your elevator? If they have an elevator, then you're going to pick whatever button you want, right? You're going to go up there. The people downstairs will have assumed you already talked to the front desk, and you did, which isn't a lie. And then you can just sort of do whatever you want. You can do that, replicate that anywhere. It's a really wonderful tip I'd love to share with everyone. I'd like to create sort of as much discord as possible, as much chaos as possible, and I think that I'll also invest in orange vests.
Well, there you have it, my friends. Those are the headlines. There's one about child. Makes me nervous. That one makes me nervous. I don't even want it to be on there at all. It's got a guy's face on it.
I don't like that. Yeah. Mm-mm. Bleep it out. Find the software to bleep something, Harold, because I don't want to be in the same recording as those words together.
Oh, there's no software for bleeping stuff. It's just there's somebody in the background and they go bleep.
Can I record a sample for it?
Yeah, go ahead. Well, hold on. Deep breath. No, for me, I have to take a deep breath.
Okay, you really throw me off.
All right, here we go.
Very obedient. Okay. Wait, now? I need to know if it's now.
It was supposed to be while I took the deep breath to make sure there wasn't extra breathing.
Well, I exhaled my deep breath, and then there was a pregnant pause. All right, let me take another deep breath, but then I want you to say go, and then I'll go after that.
Go. Was that the bleep?
Yeah, it's the best I can do.
I
I
hated
can't
that
say
so
beep.
much.
Well, it's better than what you said.
Oh,
It's much better than what you said.
man. that
No, I've got sort of a genetic condition, and I can't say. It's really frustrating for me because I can't say beep, like the word, the onomatopoeia beep. I can't say it. I can only say beep. It's a real problem that I deal with every day. I struggle with it. It's embarrassing in a context, in a scenario when I would need to say beep, but I'm not able to say beep. Do you understand what I mean? Instead of beep, when I try to say beep, it comes out beep, and it's. See what I mean? It's a real problem.
see, I'm gonna have to though snip that, and I'm gonna have to use it in every episode going forward. One of the special things we do on every episode of Newnan Time, Newnan Podcast with Harold, is we do some promoting for the greatest restaurant in the world, HJ Wings and Things. They don't ask us to. They don't pay us. This is because they deserve it. They deserve it. So what I would love from you...
They should pay. We should be paying them for the honor.
Oh, I pay them with customer dollars.
Well, that's fair. That's fair.
What I would like from you is I would like for you to perform for us a Google review, a Google 5-star review of an experience at Wings and Things by a wizard.
By a wizard? Oh, I already did one as a sort of artificial computer man.
Yeah.
Let me shift gears. It's sort of the opposite.
We can wait for that ambulance to go by. All right, there we go.
I'm out here in the field, guys. I'm sorry. I'm working on the ground.
Out here in the fields.
Doing some face-to-face sort of nose-to-the-ground reporting. Okay, let me think of my best wizard voice. I have a good warlock voice. Can I be a warlock?
Yeah, that's a type of wizard.
That's fine. Okay. Am I going to sort of just read my, as if I had written it, in the voice of the person that did write it?
Yes?
Just making sure I understand. Here we go. Delectable. 4.5 stars. I visited HJ Wings and Things this afternoon, and it was such a little treat. I loved how the beautiful nation of Summer Grove is just outside the window, and you can look at the beautiful vistas, the mountains, and the pool from there. I thought that the sauce was ample, and it tickled my fancy. Everything was strangely buttery, strangely sort of juicy and crispy to boot. I'd say the food here is stupendous. Is it a 5-star review? No. A warlock never gives a 5-star review because there was no magic in the wings.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I got. That's what I got so far.
Well, thank you so much.
The wizard part, the magic part, I feel like was really secondary, tertiary to the delicious time he had. I don't feel like he would mention his profession.
You made the choice.
We don't like flex like I am a mighty warlock, like, and then also talk about the wings. Like I don't think he'd start with that.
I don't know. I've read some reviews and they're like,
"Behold my magical, mystical abilities," and also the wings were to die for.
I don't know if I was a warlock. It's what I would do.
You open up every Google review with "Hello, I'm a warlock."
Of course, so they know that my opinion is like special.
It matters, not a muggle. Okay. All right. Well, pretend I did that.
Well, thank you for joining us. Do you have any final words for all the beautiful listeners?